how we tell if it's a male or female crab? Look on the bottom.
Right.
Okay. So on the bottom, if it's like this on the bottom, okay, the long piece right here, it is a male crab. If it doesn't have this long piece in the bottom,
I got a female.
then it's a female.
You have a female?
Which one is the male? The long thing or the short thing?
No, the long piece on the bottom.
Oh, that's a male.
The Washington Monument.
There you go. That's a good way to look at it.
Analogy.
All right,
No
so
one knew about that.
So,
One
on the
thing,
bottom,
perhaps.
peel this part back. All right. Peel this part back. All right, and then tear it off. If you want gloves, I'll give you some gloves. You want gloves?
Really?
We got 2 gloves.
And we're from North Carolina, remember this? We're gonna do what again?
Peel it back right there.
As you can see, TV Land, we have bougie people from North Carolina too. She's pretty, but we have bougie people from North Carolina too.
It's not working, that's fine, I'll be fine.
Oh, no. You won't get out that easily. Come on. You won't get out that easily.
I was gonna say, if you need a knife or a fork.
You help me out, can I swap with you?
All right. Here we go.
It's done that fast.
Done that fast. There we go.
And then,
All right. So once you pull off the back, right? You rip off the top. Everything on top right here, you get rid of.
The dead man fingers.
They call this the dead man.
dead man things, you don't eat it either.
No.
Don't eat it, no.
Okay, see?
So
Which is funny, as a child, I thought the dead man was the coloring on the inside only.
Oh.
Well, that's the good stuff. That's like the mustard and the eggs and all that. And the female crabs, you want to eat them. That's
all right.
good.
So here's how the crab looks right now. Okay. Out in Food Land. So now take your finger. Don't matter which finger. From the back into the front. And you slide it through.
From the rooter to the center.
And you want to get all that stuff cleaned up using your finger.
You want a glove?
You want a glove?
You want a
You want a
glove?
glove?
To wipe it from the rooter to the cooler?
Oh, we're gonna wipe?
Essentially.
I'm not really from North Carolina, I'm from New York.
Would you like a glove?
Really? Birthday girl, really? Oh, you don't want to mess your nails up. It's your birthday.
It's her birthday.
Oh yeah, they bling. They blingy.
It's her birthday.
I did.
Oh, all right, you did. Okay, cool.
I'm there, caught up.
All
And
right.
then just suck the meat out of the leg.
Whoa, suck the meat. I like that.
I'm sorry, that's the way I do it.
That's the best way to do it.
So now I'm wiping and sucking on my birthday. Saying.
You like you get your phone out. Come
There's
on.
meat.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're making innuendos to get the PG-13 today.
I say that loud.
It's all about wordplay. It's all about
It is on
wordplay.
my birthday, we're sucking and wiping.
Do it again.
All right. Would you like the crab that
I would like that, chef.
I grab
Thank
it.
you. Where is it at? Oh, I will take these
I brought it in
parts from you.
pieces.
Thank you, chef. You are an outstanding chef. And your assistant, where's your crab? Because I can help you out too.
She can't eat her kids. She can't eat Timmy now.
Yeah,
I named them. I can't do that.
She done named them so she can't eat Timmy and
They
them.
formed a bond.
And just to let you know, crabs are messy, so if you think you're going to be pretty and looking good and eating crabs, it's not going to
Are
happen.
you talking
Definitely
about
not a first date meal.
Oh, it's just-
Yeah, it's a first date meal because then you can realize if she's a keeper or if you got to send her back, throw her back.
Hello.
Even though she might, you can keep her still.
And if she wants crabs, she might. If she wants gloves, she might be on the fence between throw her back and keep her.
Okay. On that
It might
note,
be good because you gotta have somebody like that sometimes.
you know what? On that note, I digress. We're gonna go to our next subject for today. So our first subject for today, going forward, is successful marriages and relationships. So we have a couple here today that has been married for 51 years. Golden age.
51 years!
Mr. and Miss Bobby, would you like to elaborate what makes a great relationship and marriage? Because it's not all fun and games, as we all know. But to make it 51 years, what's your secret? What got you to 51 years?
Communication.
Communication? I don't think anybody heard you on you. Just...
Communication. Even when they're wrong, tell them they're right.
The young lady say that?
about being married at 50 years. It really go by so fast to it. The wretches don't have long to get married. And then when you get children, when they get 51 to 52 years old,
And 48.
and 48, you feel like y'all the same age.
Oh, okay.
Once you get children like that, then you get grandchildren 30 and 31 years old.
Oh.
Then you know you're pushing it. And then you come along with grandchildren, great grands, 5 and 6 and 8 and 9
And one.
Then you know you're pushing it. But when you got health and strength and God give you the opportunity to enjoy life, enjoy it.
I like that.
Oh,
Give
yeah.
God to pray for every day.
I like that.
I like that. I like that. Anything else?
And never say no.
Never say no?
I have a question.
I like that, and that comes from the man.
So
Never
you
say
all
no.
have children and grandchildren and great grand. So that means you've seen a lot of communication struggles in the time frame, right? So what have you all observed from the younger couples as to why they don't last as long as you guys did?
Well, I'll use my children that's married.
Mm-hmm.
They'll say, Mom, I'm about to take what you do. So I said, okay.
Okay.
And they end up coming back and say, well, how did you do it? You know, but they don't have the patience, they don't have understanding, and they want it to be their way. You know, it's not all you get. It's a compromise in a marriage.
So who wants to
Compromise.
Who wants to get away? The guy or the girl?
I'm talking on behalf of my married daughters.
Oh, okay.
I would like to say something to the guys. You know, when you've been married for a long time, you get to know your wife really good. And some things, you know, you can just almost know what your wife will say. And you know what she don't want, and she know what she's going to give you a hard time. So prepare yourself. When she go off on you, just smile and say, okay, honey.
You have to do it.
Are you serious? That's a good word.
Well, you know, it's communication, like my wife said at first.
Exactly.
And then if you are married and both person, now all the time people don't work. Husband and wife don't work. But if the husband and the wife work in the school together, they can be really successful.
It's a team.
It's a team.
Team is a good word.
Yeah.
Teamwork makes the
You know,
Teamwork.
you know,
all right, class.
my frat brothers,
What frat would that be, sir?
Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So my frat brothers who've been married for quite a number of years, you know, a lot of them have said the same thing, which was, I'm not going to get married again, you know, because I want somebody who's going to be on the team. Now, the team is the team. It's not his team or her team. It just says the team. And if you're not trying to be on the team, then I'm not going to waste my time trying to be with somebody who's 20 or 30, you know, when you're already up in age. Because it's about maturity levels at that point. And can you coexist together? Can you have an intelligent conversation? Can you coexist together? Can you work to form a team? And the team be successful? You know, that's key for a lot of people. Do you agree, sir?
Yeah, and I like to say that too. Behind every good man, there's a good woman.
Yes, sir.
Can I say something?
Sure.
As the late great Kobe Bryant said, there's no I in team, but there's a M-E, who is me. So, hey, who's going to be the me in that team?
Ooh.
Whose team is going to be? Is it going to be your team or my team?
That's why you have communication,
But the
as they pointed out,
is you're
because you
winning.
come up with a common goal
Chef, you've
between
been talking.
the two.
You need to get the.
Right, we have to bring it back full
No, but
circle.
y'all
So
just
when
have
you
to be
put the
a winner.
communication
I
in
like full
there,
circle. Okay.
when you put that communication in there, it makes a major difference because you establish a me between the two of you.
So, question.
So it's we.
Cuz,
Single.
no, I want to ask that question. I was going to ask, how long have you been an entrepreneur?
Since 2013.
So since 2013 and it's now 2022,
Woo.
you have been an independent woman.
Mm-hmm.
You've been responsible for making your own money, not relying on anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is it safe to say that you fall into that category of independent women?
Yes, very much
that
so.
a man has to, what do you bring to the table? You fall into that category?
I do, unfortunately.
Okay.
She
It
falls
makes-
in that B team.
It makes dating extremely hard, but I am learning to communicate and I am learning to listen to what a partner needs. I'm learning these things.
You said keep
Learning.
Listen.
If I don't mind, how many days past 21 are you?
Wait a minute.
You should have been learned that.
So sometimes
You should have been learned that.
No. I learned to be empowered and a single, strong woman, independently. So I do have a "what are you offering me" mentality. I do have that.
So what have you
But
done
now-
for me lately?
But now I'm learning that in a relationship, you cannot make a man feel less than a man.
You're doing a lot of learning. When you going to graduate?
I mean,
you know what?
I'm close to
You got a
graduation.
PhD in learning.
I just got a divorce. I learned.
She did learn. She graduated.
I graduated all the way out of the marriage.
She graduated.
You did learn. You graduated.
Okay.
Graduated
See, we're
and
celebrating.
decided exactly what I
We're
wanted.
celebrating birthdays, divorce, marriages. Anyone else have anything to celebrate?
Wise one. She's sitting so
Elegantly.
and just sipping her drink. So what do you have to offer? Because everybody else been talking. We've been talking a little bit too much. What do you have to say?
You listening?
She observing.
That's the best way.
That's the main thing.
Why?
I
Are
think
you observing?
I am. I think that we were, when I say we, I mean our generation in the late 30s, 40s, up to 50s, women, were not taught to be interdependent, which is what is missing in relationships nowadays. We were taught, finish high school, go to college, get these degrees, be successful. So we were taught to be successful career-wise in academia, but we weren't taught like, okay, this is what you need for a relationship. And I think that's why it's so much more I instead of me. And then there was the whole, I'm an independent woman, all the ladies independent, but that's a song. These women are going home to their boyfriends.
They
and husbands.
are.
And I don't
He
really
liked it, so he put a ring on
Right.
it.
So I don't
He
really
tricked you.
think there's such thing as independent because no man is an
Okay.
island. I think it's more about interdependence, and that's where we've kind of missed out.
I agree.
So,
And that's
for
speaking from the
those of us who
intellectual
have not made it to
academia.
51 years of marriage, what advice would you strongly recommend based off what you're seeing in these younger generations? Because we have social media, we have YouTube cooking shows, so now we learn how to make this stuff. What is it that would help us become more desirable as educated, strong-minded women to the men that
I think we're done.
are
Stay on
willing
social
to...
media. Y'all communicate too much. You don't. Hey, an 8-year marriage in social media timeline is like 50 years. You didn't before you get out the house. You didn't text them what you're doing, and by the time lunchtime, you didn't text him. He didn't LOL'd you and spoke. I don't know how many times. You don't have nothing to talk about when you come home.
So what does that have to do with social media?
You letting everybody know your business.
And
That's
you're
what
talking
doing.
too much.
Sometimes
What is
it's
there to
best
talk about when
like
you
you
get home?
observing, you observe who you gonna be around and who you gonna be with.
So,
If you talk too much, you let everybody know all your business, and when they know your business, they gonna talk about you because they ain't got nothing to talk about.
And then what about
They
it? What
hating
is that?
on you. They
And what is
jealous.
there to talk about? Just think about when your parents grew up. They didn't have cell phones and all of this. So guess what? They probably when they left. The only time he probably talked to her was when he came home. But nowadays, hell, you done spoke about 10, 12 times throughout the day with all these texts. What is there to talk about when you get home? You know everything.
Hell, I'm calling him.
You
telling him what she
don't-
done done.
You done liked her on Facebook 2-3 times, Instagram, Snapchat, whoever else. What else is there to talk about? Everybody know what's going on. The whole family know you over here by now. So what is there to talk about?
You're absolutely right, but I also feel that it should be more than just what the woman needs to do. It's a team
I'm
effort
gonna
too.
say this. Like you said, the woman wouldn't know how to pick your partner to a certain point, but a man needs to know when to say stop. And the 3 men in here, the 3 or 4 men in here, understand when I say stop. Pick your partner. If she ain't of your mama or what you used to, this is what I want. She just like my mom. This is what I want. This is the kind of woman I want. This is what I'm gonna settle for, cause she done everything my father needs, and I watch how they take care of each other. That's what you're looking for. Sometimes you can't find that, but a man needs to know when to whoa. Because see, the hunting is over with. There ain't no salt on rolls all the time. You need to slow down and stop and figure out what you want.
It's thankful you said it because a lot of guys are looking for a wife to remind them of their mother.
Yes, sir.
And then the first thing they want to find a woman that can cook like their mother. If they can't cook like their mother, then they got problems.
And bringing it full circle to cooking, guess what you're learning how to do in Foodie Land?
But
Cook.
see, the one thing my old man told me a long time ago, he said, son, you gotta learn how to cook, clean, and take care of yourself. A woman see you can do all of them yourself. If she need a hand, you got her. She ain't got to come in and cook every day. You can go in there and cook too.
Oh, yeah.
Help her out.
So what you're saying is on both parties, they're both looking for teamwork and what each other can bring to the table to enhance
And guess what? They both win, don't they?
current skills.
They both win with that team.
Everybody wins. Not just them, but
everybody
the world
wins?
wins, you know?
You know who's not winning today, guys? Timmy and his friends. They're so
No, they didn't win. They winning.
Timmy's the crab.
They winning. They team players. See, they playing for us right now. So we winning, right?
Yeah, they done run their race.
Yeah, the race is run. Now we're gonna help them.
They're like all together. One for all, all for one. They were holding on tight, guys.
The tag team was back again, wasn't it? See, you can't complain. Can't complain.
Well, as usual.
You all want to know who has a really strong partnership that I admire?
Obama.
Judge Kentaji Brown.
Glad you mentioned her name. She's been.
You know what? The Republicans have given her a very hard time. Unlike the other Republican they passed through, they just basically just let him on to the Supreme Court.
How many days before the lady went on to position? With Trump took all that.
You're talking about a girl who has no background in being a judge. Hasn't been, and she was just an educator.
And she wasn't
A
spoken
walking,
to the
they
same
call it
way
walking.
either. The same tone,
Exactly.
same questioning, type questioning.
But she held her cool though.
She did.
She
She
was crying one day.
She
I
did
didn't
a great
see that.
job.
But it's like watching somebody sit through a very strenuous interrogation for a crime we all know they did
They're
not
trying to
commit.
dissect something that ain't there. You're like, okay.
She kept that smile on her face.
She know how to keep quiet.
She is very well qualified. Very qualified.
I read something about her husband being supportive. It's a white gentleman that they thought was a homeless man that was sitting in on her court hearing. And they were like, "There's a homeless man. Do you want him to be removed?" And she's like, "It's my husband." He's a doctor. He supported her all through school. She said he had been there supporting her, having her back this whole time. His thing is making sure she's able to complete her dreams.
And where this happened to be at, how are they gonna have a homeless man sitting in on a Senate
They
hearing?
know he's not real.
Really?
They know
No, not the
No,
Senate
that's what
hearing.
they
No,
want
her
to depict
actual.
him as. They
No,
depict
her.
him as
No,
that.
her actual court proceedings.
They even
Like when she was having, I guess, night court or something, he would be sitting in every time he would get off work. He would come and sit in on her and observe her. Like he was completely supportive of her dreams and her goals,
Oh, that's so sweet.
which is amazing partnership-wise since we were, talking about couples lasting a long time.
Oh, we gonna talk about couples.
You
Let's
want
talk
to see
about
what he did. Why
let's
he
talk about
why he
Barack and
stayed at
Michelle.
home. That's what he
Let's
want to
talk about
understand.
couples.
She knows what she doing.
That's a real good couple.
No, she's a doctor. He's a doctor.
Let's talk about Barack and Michelle. Then we gonna talk about couples.
What about him?
That's a strong couple.
Exactly. That's a good couple.
That's a beautiful couple. As well.
So, interrupt the conversation. You just had a slap your mama crab devil leg.
Yes.
I didn't get a chance to get one.
Now, since you're sitting beside your mom, how you feeling about it?
I would never.
Don't even
slap
try
my
that.
mom. Very delicious.
Were you nervous when you tasted? Were you nervous she was about to slap you?
Oh no.
That is bad.
All right.
Can I try one of those so I can see how it?
You already had one, sir. This for your, the next one's for your dinner.
He wants to slap his mama.
I didn't get a chance. I'm tasting for you. Yes, exactly.
So the way I made this this crab devil leg basically is basically a Maryland style crab cake, but I put a spin to it. Okay. So there's no egg in it. Okay. The egg is the egg yolk that's already been boiled. Right. That's the only egg that's in it. However, in the Maryland crab that crab cake that I made to go inside it, I put some mayonnaise in it, some mayo. Hellman's. right? We all like helmets,
Yeah.
okay? Because there are debates.
Which is better?
Exactly. Like I said, there are debates. So, along with that, I will use Worcestershire sauce and I use soy sauce. Okay? I also use some something to give you a little bit of kick. Horseradish.
Yep.
Alright? So horseradish give you a little bit of kick to it, right?
Did
But not
anybody
enough to
taste
kill you. Or make you want to go, I need something to drink.
It's something in this burning, because that's what I had to leave. It's something in it that got a little some chilies or something in it, some peppers or something.
Really? Really?
I'm just saying.
Maybe come from the crabs.
No. I really look like I really look like Jimmy Walker. My lip grade swell. I'm like,
Oh
man,
no,
You
the
got a
crab bit you.
a little wishy-washy.
Yeah, that's politics.
It only been.
Chef Nick, what is this that you're putting in here?
I am putting in all fresh seasonings. This is rosemary.
Smells good.
And I put in some fresh thyme a few seconds ago.
What time is it, guys?
Rosemary time.
You know what?
Stick to your sous
Next to your Drondra.
It's all right. I know there's
Much
a
love, much love.
What do you say? What do you say?
You're strong and independent. You can handle it.
I don't think Dave Chappelle or
Anyone
Kevin
have-
Hart.
Is looking for any
I
assistance.
don't think they have nothing to worry, Chef.
It's all right. They're not into cooking. If they were into cooking, they would know what time it was.
No, she didn't say that, but she said.
You know what? I'm gonna drink on that one.
Since you on this time thing, you want me to go get a clock and you looking at like Morris Day since you want to be at the time you can be Jungle Love. You want me to get a clock? Flavor Flav.
Listen, if it has a name in this food thing, I can probably come up with something for it.
All right, sure.
Like Timmy and his people over here.
Timmy and his people.
They're
Okay.
quiet too.
They're quiet. Hey guys, you all right?
Okay,
Oh, yep. Start swinging as soon as I went over here. What's up?
Ladies and gentlemen, in Foodland, just to let you know, we was doing prep before the show. She actually was recorded fighting with a piece of crab. The crab was swinging its claws, and she had some tongues like this, and she was trying to grab it, and the crab was like, no.
United we stand, divided we fall.
And you gave them names. What's their names?
Timmy.
They all were named Timmy.
I thought what happened to
Let's slide back to communication points. You're not gonna win on her birthday. What did you say to say? Okay,
yes.
honey.
And I'm wearing my birthday.
Tiara.
Say that on there. They my
It's her birthday.
Hey, all right.
It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
And you're Aries.
Yeah, I'm an Aries. What
Okay.
does that mean, sir?
It means
27?
Yes, the wrong one.
It should still be Pisces. ain't it?
you're it means dealing with you is gonna be a challenge. Let's just leave it at that.
That's Pisces. That's not Aries.
No, not Aries. That's the rank.
Alright, so we're gonna cut this off in a few seconds because
So what was put in there, Chef Nick?
you have mushrooms,
Okay.
you got scallops, you have some squid, you have shrimp, scallops as well, and then you've got some nice butter, some olive oil, you have some rosemary, you have some thyme, and you have some minced garlic. Oh, and some parsley.
Chef Dick up on Squid Game, y'all. You heard
Chef
that?
Nick.
He did have that squid.
That
Do
Squid
they
Game.
call squid calamari or is calamari
It's
something
squid.
else?
Squid.
Ooh, good.
So what else is calamari?
Squid.
I've heard it in fancy restaurants. What is
Squid.
it?
Squid. Ladies and gentlemen of Food of Land, this is how the stuffing is gonna look for the baked potatoes.
Oh my God.
Ooh.
Isn't that amazing?
I'm ready.
So, would you like to taste?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you gonna do something with this
Yes.
internal?
Yes.
This is.
Thank you.
I got scalp.
Well, how do we know what we're eating, Chef Nick?
All the things.
No.
Nothing
Oh, I
but
do,
house
Mom.
herbs.
I'm just messing with you, Chef.
How do we know what we're eating?
Alright, so most of you have a piece of shrimp. That was butterfly and I cut in half.
Okay.
And one of you has a piece of a scallop.
I get it.
Oh, it's the birthday boy. You know what, Chef? You classy, man. You got.
Excuse me, until.
Birthday girl's daddy.
10.
Right.
It's the birthday mama.
She got season.
Wow.
She got season.
Are we ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, and go.
You late, birthday girl. That thing
Right?
ain't done. You late.
Oh, I was
Like a
ready.
party in your mouth.
I know. Oh, she's open. She's ready.
Secret.
She's ready.
That was delicious.
She's ready.
Stop
It's a party
spooning
in your
and went
mouth. She's
directly to
ready.
the party in your mouth.
We stopped spooning and then we.
Now it's a party. If you go from spooning to party in your mouth,
How about sucking?
That's gonna be
We
next.
had to do it in order.
Okay, let's go back.
We doing what? We doing what?
Wiping.
Wiping,
Sucking.
sucking,
Spooning.
spooning.
And there was.
Now we have a party in our mouth.
Maybe my parents were celebrating the 51.
I've seen it.
Yes.
Yeah, you gonna get paid more here.
Yeah.
Than you do down
because the
there.
cost of living, and you look at the area. Like this house where we at now is $500,000. In North Carolina, it's probably about $300,000.
No.
Even cost of living in North Carolina is going up.
Yes,
especially
now,
near
yes.
RDU.
Yes, that just happened within the last few
You're right.
years.
So
Chef,
how
they
was
had
your
more than me.
transition? How was your transition? Anyone else transition?
My chef, my transition was awesome. I was able to. Well, my transition was a little different, and coming from where I came from and how I was raised, it was a little different. But
You want to share or moving on?
you were an educator. I was just coming out of high school, coming from the city, from the block, and didn't pretty much have any direction. So I don't know. I just decided to go in the Army. You know, I just wanted to change, and it was some struggles, you know, because I wasn't used to somebody telling me something. But
You saw that you didn't have to leave your car door unlocked.
oh yeah, I didn't have to.
You still don't leave your car doors unlocked in North Carolina? I lock my doors in North Carolina.
You know what? I leave my door unlocked, but this is the thing about North Carolina. I have a thing called no trespassing sign on my house, and a beware of my dog, and the owner has a gun. So if you come on my property and you do something, I can kindly make sure I want to keep my property.
I don't know if the rules go with that. You gotta come inside the property.
All right. So
Oh
everybody
no,
go
my
baby?
dog is in. Oh yeah.
Everybody go baby? All right. Come on.
Black
This
people.
is a big topic. Hey, potatoes.
So are you saying that by moving down south you felt safer as opposed
Yes.
to here?
Yes.
That's
Of
what you mean by
course.
not locking
Yes, of course.
Okay.
And it's proven.
Moving by who?
What, that it's safer in the South than it is here?
It all depends
Your
on what part.
drive-bys in North Carolina.
Yes, they do. It all depends on.
That was delicious.
What they say when you go by a house, you go at the neighborhood at nighttime to see how the neighborhood is really. That's how you find out, and you also look and see what the crime rate is. It depends on where you at.
But I will say this, and you as an educator. No, for real. Let's think about it. You teaching wise, how are your students receptive to you up here, as far as the respect and the manners?
I no longer am an educator.
Okay, well, when you were, how were they?
There's a different mannerism.
Oh, okay.
Up here.
And that's it.
What do you feel the
What-
manners mean?
Oh, fried up.
And
Then we frying up the oven.
we're gonna put it up and down on
Spooning,
350.
sipping, dipping. It's my birthday.
So for those of you who didn't
now.
see how this happened, here you go. This is the baked potato, and it's stuffed with seafood, the filling
We spooned
From
it
the-
out.
from the breast of potato, and then you have your bacon.
Yes,
Great.
Chef Nick.
All right, who
I'm
wants?
not gonna eat it because they trying to damn
And
do
don't
my
forget we
figure.
gotta have
And
the-
her posture, she's not gonna eat. She's.
Oh, I eat everything.
Wait a minute.
See, now,
I bit my lip. I bit my lip. She corrected me. She corrected me with the side eyes, and I bit my lip. I'm sorry.
Hold up, wait a minute. Turn up for some funk,
I bit my
You
lip.
gonna play that, aren't you?
Sir, she gonna play
Sir,
it.
he gonna play it down.
Have you noticed I have not been picking on April?
No, you haven't.
Oh,
I know my lane.
exactly.
Why not?
Well, help me out.
Because
You can give me a bump.
I'm cooking.
You know better.
attention to everything.
Come me. And I'm gonna be charging shipping and handling. So hey,
All right, so
Here we go.
here's the whiting
Like
fish.
Here,
Whiting fish right here.
whiting fish.
Okay.
Ooh, ah.
Now, I already have whiting already done.
Mm.
Let me show you what the finished product is.
Oh, let us know.
Oh,
Look at me.
You prep.
He said it was finished. What are we doing?
So, North Carolina style, this is how we fry fish.
That's how we batter it
yeah.
up.
That's how we batter it up. Yes.
All right.
Done?
So, for the purpose of the show,
Y'all both the same.
here you go. Here's your North Carolina fried crab.
Hey, show that, chef. That is perfect.
That's a what?
North Carolina Northeastern
And look
fried
at that one
crab.
fried up. That's the claw. Look at that. Look at that. That boy bad. That good.
Oh, that's a
Come right here. Come right here, chef. That boy good.
You just want to eat it just like it is.
Come right here. Yes.
Did you put your plate out?
Everybody can get one.
Well, I try. Hey, I'm like Mike. He likes it. He likes it.
Sorry.
What was that? Oh,
What's it gonna have?
I try.
Go ahead.
The mic. Go ahead.
No,
No, I gotta go ahead and give it to him. No, I gotta talk to her.
It's hot, okay? It's hot.
What was that, Mikey? What was that? What was that? Oh, chef.
Like it sauce.
She's going to go on. She's going with the team a little bit.
How about this?
That's fine, baby. We're going with the, we're getting older, we like the salt.
No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody's ever said that.
There you go. There you go. That dipping again.
Wow.
You know what? I got nothing for this baby. Well, I
I told you roll that bun.
So I digress.
This is a soft
Are you ready?
You're ready to swim.
They're gonna
Yeah, Timmy.
marinate them.
All right, we're gonna
Timmy
put some
trying to
Joaquin
get up.
Graham
Y'all
in.
better do something.
Cherry
He trying to
brandy.
get up. Timmy just flipped over.
Hey, buddy.
It's water. I'm getting tipsy.
Marrones.
Oh, Lord.
Brown liquor.
It's just brandy.
liquor,
Brown looking.
brandy and crabs. Okay.
Dum, dum, dum.
Boom.
Sounds like
I
this.
think,
That's
see,
what I know.
this what you don't get old by being stupid. You just look and you observe, and you're like, I think I could say something to her. No, I say something to you. And I
Hey,
say
guys,
something to
how
my-
you
and I
doing
see
in
the parent, I'll
there?
sleep. If she
Oh,
sleeps,
you're
maybe I sleep,
waving.
But when she was like,
Get us out
no,
of
hey,
here.
Yes, I don't know. What about me?
So
Just walk all over
no, I'm not a habitual line stepper.
Really?
Hi, Timmy.
Really, you still talking to them?
Hi, Timmy.
4C.
Y'all don't hear them? They're
4C.
like,
Stop.
no, they're like, give
So make
me.
the sauce. To go on top of
It looks like they're miming.
It looks like that. What?
Look, he's at the top.
Oh,
He's like, man, it's hot in here.
it looks like they're what?
He's crawling up to the top. He's like, it's so.
And that's why she rides bus 4C with the seatbelt, and she got the little door by her
So what's in the
entrance.
sauce, Chef Nick?
Okay, so, all right, the sauce.
Leave them damn crabs alone, woman.
All right, let me explain what's in the sauce now.
Okay.
So in the sauce, ladies
Hot.
and gentlemen, here's how it looks right here. The finished product of the sauce.
Yeah.
It has a little tang into it.
Tango spice.
Depends. Got some honey mustard.
Okay.
We got some horseradish.
Horseradish spice.
For a little tribute from back down south, Abrams.
Abrams, shout out to Abrams.
We have some Dijon mustard. Okay.
Whole grain.
All right.
Organic.
Whole grain.
Now this is Moroccan.
Moroccan.
Spicy.
Fire. Is it a hot sauce?
Can I have my
Yes.
plain chef, please, sir?
No, too late.
Too late.
Sorry to do it.
It's too late.
So you can eat it without the
Too late. And we have regular mustard we put in there as well. And we're also going to serve it with some bread and butter.
Guys, keep in mind.
They're
Some
organic.
can
They're
be
organic
spicy
pickles.
alone,
Look.
And once
The
it's
birthday
all
girl,
mixed
she's
together,
like
it's not
whole
as bad
grain.
of a
She wants
spice.
organic pickles.
Seems like
These
she's
are from
intimidated about the
Wagrams. They're
spice.
organic pickles.
Wegmans.
They have seeds in them, and they're
The Carolina pickles.
No,
what
It's
cucumber
not
they come
Dukes.
from?
no.
Dukes or Mount Olive.
Peter A.
You gotta mentally psych them out before it's that
Who wants
time.
The ladies, and then the birthday girl and the parents.
You gotta eat the whole sandwich.
No share.
It looks like a chicken sandwich from the Chick-fil-A.
All right. Who wants the next one?
Right here.
That's on down.
2 July.
Ladies
What's the next
first.
2 July.
Ladies
That's
first.
fine.
Okay, great.
All right. So how do you like the Maryland fried soft shell crab
Delish.
compared to the North Carolina style northeastern crab? Where it's
Maryland's better.
Right. Which one? Maryland's better.
Maryland.
You like the soft shell better? Soft shell.
Yeah. That's always gonna be better, bro.
Presentation.
There's no working.
Exactly.
You're right about it. There's no work in it. It's
The
just
flavor's different as well.
Well, the Maryland soft shell crab.
I'm gonna fly it over here. I'm gonna come back. That was delicious.
Okay.
Y'all all right? Everybody good?
All right. Now,
Thank you.
Chef, this the anniversary? All these damn foods and sides. This the anniversary show?
this is the North Carolina show, which is actually my middle show.
Okay.
It's my mid-season show.
Bravo.
got
Mid-season.
more
Brava! Brava!
And we have cake too at the end.
It's the dessert, man.
Cake, 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 cake,
Pace
cake,
yourself. Pace yourself.
Excuse me.
There you
All
go.
right. Here's the buttermilk fried chicken wings right here.
Yum, yum.
Okay.
You want to talk
Just stick
about
some in your plate right there. You're welcome.
This all is all.
You're welcome.
Life.
All right.
I
So
wonder.
here's
sweet
what
potato
we're going.
jacks?
Can they take me under?
This is what happens when you're from the South. We just go with any mellow. We just add sweet potato jacks
Yep.
because we knew how to have fun and enjoy life, even with a
All
rock
right.
candy.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut some potato jacks in half, so everybody can get the taste.
You don't even have to be a half chef, like it could be a full. Okay,
Yes.
go ahead. That's just me. Okay, I'll stay over here.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Look at them.
Timmy gone.
Thank you, darling.
You got that brandy in.
Timmy said hip hop parade.
Can you tell me about the sweet potato jack?
All right. So sweet potato jack has bourbon in it.
Oh, you done drunk up the sweet potato jack. So bourbon in the sweet potato?
Really? Really?
How are we supposed to eat the other food? That's okay.
Ladies, you can pick and choose.
Thank you.
For us.
Oh my god.
Nelson and
You might want to slap somebody.
That
Listen to
is
Spider
good.
Video.
Sweet potato. My dad gonna try this at
Just
home.
made me smile.
Uh-oh.
This is a little taste of home.
Yeah, it is. This is good.
This should remind you
Yeah.
of North Carolina when you bite into this.
Yeah, it does. As a what in North Carolina?
Oh, I take the bourbon.
Hey, it is that good old down south home cooking.
Never had this before.
Me either.
When you had that sweet potato jack, it reminds you of what your great grandmother or your great grandfather did, or your aunt, or your somebody in your family, or
Grandma
your,
Rita.
or Big Mom.
This might be a good snack to have
Big
instead of eating
Papa.
on some potato chips.
All right, happy birthday.
You work this. You work this.
No, but seriously,
That's
you know,
not
even in
mess.
this,
I'm full.
even in this time, it's very different. You know, time it can be challenging to trust people. We're sitting here with people that some are family, some are not, some are new family,
Family
friends.
and family and family.
And then next thing you know, you're sitting here just breaking bread in a nice restaurant, courtesy of Chef Nick, and enjoying ourselves. And we've been well taken care of.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Nick, for
Thank you.
hosting. You're the host of the Moses.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'm full. I'm full as
Caesar.
HE double hockey sticks. I'm done. I'm done.
Stick
Okay.
pork in it.
I'm done.
Ladies and gentlemen of Foodland, this concludes our portion of Chef's Table. We will now proceed to the dining room and we will finish our cooking and conversation in the dining room. Pause for the cause.
Can you pass that over to me?
But
Two of them in there. That's what I'm good.
you parched now? You
Hey,
on
that's all I
parched?
need.
This may be crass, but everybody say that great shit?
No,
I
we'll
did.
let you do it.
Yes, we did great.
That's all I
shit.
said earlier.
We bless.
I
We
definitely
bless.
said
You
mine.
blessed everybody.
4C. I'm
Oh, I know. You know what?
You keep.
I only pretend.
We're
I
gonna
only
bring you up to
pretend to
3.
be a
We're gonna bring
heathen.
you up to 3C next year. You doing good. We're
I
gonna
only
let you
pretend
get
to
around
be a
with it.
heathen.
By the time you get to high school, you're gonna be up front.
Line nigga, you gonna be up front, boy.
Really? Really?
We're gonna let
Thank
you get
you.
around with it. That's what I need right now.
All right, Nick, what was your question again? We're sorry, we got off task.
No, I was asking, did everyone enjoy the chef's table and the tasting?
Yes.
Oh,
we
it
did.
was great.
Very good.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Delicious. Everything was delicious, on point, flavorful, seasoned,
And his stuff.
great conversations.
And you got to see me cook it live from start to finish, actually.
Now, when it's going to be on YouTube?
In a few weeks. I have several shows in front. I've got to finish video editing.
Let me know, Shawana.
I can't wait to share that all.
And
I'm a star.
PJ the link.
I'm a celebrity star.
Say it again.
We celebrity stars.
Oh my goodness. Oh my
You
goodness,
know
you're
what?
a star.
Chef, I got a suggestion.
Uh-oh, chef.
Right there, for the people that's cool, but the sophisticated people have them in here. Cause you can't eat out there and eat back here. Cause you be done.
Sophisticated people. What sophisticated
You
people
know,
are you talking about?
the good folks, hey, people that's a little rough around the edges have them right there. But then when you want to sit down and eat and talk, have these people right back here. 4C, you can be back here. And of course, you can be back here, April, First Lady. But y'all good. Yeah, but hey.
But you know,
But
the
you know
people that
what?
eat chicken with a fork need to sit back here.
No, people eat yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
look. I'm gonna talk about it. She was on camera. Look at it now. Look.
She's on camera.
She on camera now. Showing herself. Look, shut! Don't put the whole thing in your mouth now. Twice. Good Lord, you hungry?
She's still on camera.
Now she inhaling.
Are y'all on camera still?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, let me
Too late.
You know what?
You gonna have to edit that.
I'm not editing that part out. No.
You got to keep that in there.
I'm going to keep every last part of that in there.
Bruh.
He's going to be a star.
James was really quiet about it. It was natural.
Baby, you
That was
need
natural. He's a superstar. Shining
The
star.
filling to these double eggs was so amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I want to take some home and put it on trackers.
Really?
Fancy trackers. Somebody else gave me the idea for the fancy crackers.
Yeah, elevator cracker. Oh, no.
Is that what it's called?
The elevator cracker?
Nikki.
The elevator cracker?
That box of crackers. I thought it was fancy crackers.
Oh, they were fancy.
They were fancy.
Oh.
So when we
Add some
did
to it.
the show with Shawanda, the crackers I had, it was
Stella.
yes, Stella. We had two different types of crackers we used. We used the wheat crackers and we used the butter crackers. And we put the crab meat,
Oh.
guacamole,
Yes.
crab meat,
I never
Delicious.
had guacamole.
and the caviar.
Mm.
All that together. So the caviar was the garnish on top of it.
Yes.
So you could not just take bite a piece of the cracker and put the whole cracker in your mouth.
So they had white folks and black folk crackers. The black folks and white folks. So they had the wheat crackers.
You're
and
still
the-
being filmed.
The struggle is real.
Struggle is real. He said white.
You know, that's your brother. You gotta claim him. So, question. Now we live in North Carolina. What was the best thing you've had tonight? And you've had a lot tonight.
Sure we have.
The chicken.
The chicken was the best thing for you?
I see the fish. When the fish come out there hot.
I like the fish. But
you know,
I like the stuffing for the potato.
Oh, yeah.
I like the fried crabs.
The soft crab was different. The sandwich was
I
very
like
different.
it all.
Something that I've never had. The potato jack, the potato things. Some sweet potato.
Oh, you never had those?
I've had everything else. Everything.
That sweet potato jack is a staple for North Carolina, for the country. For staples.
I forgot the sweet potato.
Have you ever had Apple Jacks?
No, sir.
You never had it?
Apple Jacks.
Yeah. The first time I was down there, I had a jelly cake where they make like a sponge cake and put jelly all over it, and I had that.
Let's call it
also.
Twinkie.
No, it's a jelly
Jelly
cake.
cake.
Let's call it
So I grew up eating potato jacks and sweet potato jacks
sweet potato jack?
and apple jacks.
I never.
My grandmother and my aunt used to make these on a regular basis. Like
Wow.
every other week, I grew up eating them. They was making it.
I just don't remember the rum.
And
No rum in it.
No rum.
so I put bourbon in it as a my signature piece because they're making my own.
Well, it was delicious.
So I put a shot or 2 shots depending on how I'm feeling. You know, to give it a little oomph.
No, it was really.
I went home to North Carolina not too long ago. When I went home, Mom and Dad showed me their method of how they do it in the kitchen.
So you learned something.
Yeah, I learned, yeah. So, Mom and Dad, I changed only a couple different things that of what they do.
They were very good. They were
So,
very good.
my take on it was I put the bourbon in it, and then I do an egg wash as well. Mom and Dad don't do an egg wash.
What do you mean by egg wash? I'm not familiar with that.
So I put an egg wash, right? And I get a brush, and I brush the flour. Okay, the dough. I brush the dough with the egg wash, and because you have to fold it over and then crimp it. So, in order to do that, you have to make sure that when you put the filling in and fold it over, then you got to smooth it out with the apple jack, with the potato jack, so that all of it is actually evenly distributed across the potato jack, and not just in one spot, because it won't fry right. You know, and then the egg wash basically is the glue when you fold it over, so that when you do it and you crimp it, it's going to stay crimped.
We learn something new every day.
I tell you.
So, because Chassie and I was doing it. We did it in 30 minutes, right?
It went fast. And I told him, I said, I like how he said it, like how he explained it when he was saying the egg wash. And I was like, oh, you're using this to glue? Like, you gotta make stuff simple for slow people. And when he said it, I was like, bam. And it made sense the rest of the way.
That's my job. Don't talk about yourself.
He was teaching me.
She got upgraded, remember?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be moving closer.
See, you 3D. You 3D.
You said woo.
3C? No, D. No, we gotta
She
move along.
5C.
She 4C. You gotta go. You got baby steps now. You can't go from middle school to high school.
But yeah, I like the way he explained it though. Like it really did make a lot more sense as to why we were doing it, and then it made the process go faster. Like with me, I can do it, but it's got to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, I'm gonna be confused and I'm
But
gonna
it
be
is saying
stuck.
blended them potatoes.
I put it in a blender.
And you made it into puree.
Basically.
Basically, yeah.
And you know what we're saying? That was the words that I didn't grow up with. You know, no one said puree to your food. You know, it was baby food or blended. You know, so when we say things now, they're like, oh, you've been up north. You know, but it's not just that. It's about awareness too.
So when I did it, I put a teaspoon and a half of nutmeg in it.
Nutmeg?
Yeah, I put a teaspoon of lemon extract. I put a teaspoon and a half of vanilla extract.
Okay, and then the rum.
But bourbon.
Bourbon.
I also put cinnamon in it as well.
So what was the
Nutmeg.
what made it?
Well, I'm going to put nutmeg in it.
What made it worse? Cream, butter,
Evaporated milk. I put 1 can of evaporated milk in
a
it.
little carnation.
Usually the recipe is a half a can, but when we tried it last night, something was missing, so I added another shot of bourbon and we put the rest of the can of the evaporated milk in it. And so when we did that, it evened out everything completely.
What about sugar?
Sugar, brown sugar. I don't do any white sugar. when I'm doing recipes and stuff.
And that's what he said. He just said the same thing. Brown sugar is healthier.
Yeah, it is. So I do it all brown sugar. Even for the teas, I put brown sugar in. White sugar is heavier.
It's not good for you too.
Yeah, white sugar is more processed than than brown sugar. Brown sugar is least processed.
Do you,
So you guys were talking about communication, we've been talking about the independent woman and all that stuff. You guys talked about how important communication is. How do you handle conflicts now compared to how you handled conflicts when you were younger and you first got married? Now when you're younger, you're real feisty and fiery. Versus now, how did you handle it then and how did you grow to now where it's like, okay, yes, there are you like something else I heard you guys say, something my dad used to say about my mom, once you're together so long, you kind of know how the other person is going to think and what they're going to do. I see hear my dad say that. So it's a two-part question. Mostly dealing with conflict. How did you handle that? Mrs. Spivey, what would your advice be to our generation?
well, you're gonna always have, disagreements. But you disagree to agree. You'll come to a point where sometimes when he knows when I get a little ticked off, I get quiet.
You get quiet?
I get quiet.
Didn't I tell you that?
And when I get quiet, he's oh, she pissed off. I'm not gonna make this so he'll change the subject to something else. You know, but it's a two-way thing, and like with him, if I could see that his face start twitching and everything, I would, okay, now you upset now, right? You know, and then no, well yes you are, because I know you. You get to know each other's vibes.
So would you say that you guys put the work in the beginning, actually learning each other? I think that's what, I think on top of communication, people don't take the time to actually get to know each other anymore. And because they don't know the other person, they don't, you don't know how to divert that obstacle. Like you walk through the door and you're like, uh-oh, I'm already in here. But you don't know how to actually back out of the door safely. You try to retreat and you tear the door down.
I'm sure when you were younger, you didn't have that mentality. So how did you grow to this point?
It was like tit for tat. It was
right.
You know. No. This is what I just heard. A couple days ago, they say you can tell when you get ready to get married. I said, how? So you gonna marry one person. Somebody said, well, who you gonna marry? Say you marry for ride to people. Then you say, well, how are you gonna marry for ride to people? Think about it. Every year, that person gonna change.
They do.
And so if you marry that guy today, he's not gonna be the same guy next year.
10 years from now.
And every year he's gonna change. So you had to marry for ride to people. So when he marry her, he gonna do. He gonna change every year.
But then you have to grow and compromise with him. You know, and my favorite song, and I was a church musician, is I Will Complain, because you will have good days, and you're going to have bad days. But your good days should outweigh your bad days. You don't have a reason to complain. But you learn and you grow, but you got to be willing. You got to be willing to give a little and take a little. Because sometimes you're just as wrong as he is.
So let
Too
me ask
long
this
don't make a
question.
right.
When y'all hit those non-negotiable moments, like where you're, I mean like before, like when you were hell-bent on, I'm not changing, like this is what I like, this is what I prefer, and you felt the same way, but it was something that both of you all you were faced with, let me see, the magnet. You were on the opposite side of the magnet. And it's like you have to address the situation, but neither one of you saw the same way on that. How did you handle that to come to a compromise between the two of you?
Well,
especially raising
when
kids.
you're younger, you don't have as much patience as you do when the older you get.
Right, so and raising kids.
Because I mean, we've been there. We butt heads. When we were younger, it was my way or the highway. Sometimes I chose the highway, you know, but he wouldn't let it go that easy. He would always find me.
How did y'all handle conflict in front of your kids?
They would always pack up and go with me. You know, but either way, I was always right. Well, see, I was a gentle person. He was a partier.
Still do.
I was really gentle. I didn't do anything to provoke him. But sometimes he came home with 1 beer too many, and I just couldn't take it no more. You know, we've been there.
I want to hear more about that. No, because I'm saying because
That's a realistic
it
thing.
is, because it's like you're like, I'm not going to put up with this, I'm not going to put up with this.
No,
She
yes,
must be
you-
this way, she must be that way. And then another thing is like people have a problem with the word submission. And I notice that more so being
I
up
don't
north.
believe
And I'm
in
like, I don't have a
I don't
problem with
believe in that
submission.
word.
Coming from a southern background and a Caribbean background, I don't have a problem with submission. But it's like a bad word. But then some of the men nowadays, they don't understand what submission means. Like, you're supposed to submit to the church and your wife submits to you. But people forget that part there. So I want to hear more about that and how you
I
dealt
know what you're
with,
talking about.
you know.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and how
I
you
agree with you.
dealt with, like you said, he was a partier. The man that he is now, I'm sure, and the woman she is now is not who you met years ago. You grew up. So I want to hear more about that because everybody wants to finish products.
Yeah,
Nobody wants to work.
Well, first of all, you know, I started seeking Christ for directions, which I had put him on the back burner. You know, I was grown up. My mom raised us in church, but like the scriptures say, you know, train up a child in the way that it would go. When it gets old, it won't depart. It didn't say you would leave, but it's in your heart. You're gonna have to come back because God is gonna be the only answer. And so I ended up giving my life back to Christ. I had talked to my mom one time and she said, baby, she said, give your life back to the Lord. Because she knew I was way out in left field, you know. I was going one way and I was going east, he was going west or whatever, you know, and it destroys a family, you know. But one Sunday I went to church and I felt like that preacher wasn't talking to nobody in that church but me. I said, well, what in the world I'm doing up in here?
He was talking about you?
He was talking directly to me like somebody had told him my whole life history. And they say, you know, I was up front and I was just giving it all over to God. So what I was worried about then was coming home and telling him, because he wouldn't go to nobody's church. And then I got home, I said, now I got to go back and argue with him, right? But when I told my mom, I said, the church that I feel convicted in, I said,
That's a
I
strong
don't like
word.
that church.
Well,
You
what's
could
the
go-
church?
That's a strong
Some
word.
churches you go to, you don't feel convicted because the preacher is doing more than what you're doing. And when
Mount
you,
Olive?
Yes.
that's the one I ended up joining.
Mount Olive
Well,
has
my-
that spirit in it. That's why I
Yeah.
was
I'm like,
saying.
yes, I heard you say this.
Yeah,
Y'all trying to
that was the church I ended up at, but that wasn't the church I was a member of it before.
Who's all this cake?
And
It's yours.
it was nothing for the preacher at his church. I
You know we
said
got to
his
sing happy
church
birthday, right?
would ask me out. You know, and my thing was, you know, if I go to hell, it won't be behind a preacher. You know, so when my mom told me that, I said, Mom, I said, only church I feel convicted at, I said, he won't even step foot in that church.
That's a strong word.
She
You know
said,
that.
baby, she said, you put him in God's hands. Don't you worry about him. She said, but you do what's right. And it was that next and the same Sunday that I gave my life back to God. My mom went and took home.
What?
She went and what?
And she took
Coma.
home. And I went back home to tell my mom what had happened to me that Sunday at church. And the funniest thing, my children had already became a member of that church, but I wasn't a member. They got baptized there. But
I really.
I couldn't find her. And I said, well, where am I at? You know, like
I'll share.
we grew up, my mom had 12 children. And
12?
my dad died when I was 5. So it was like she raised a whole tribe by herself.
Okay, so where are you at in the 12?
I'm number 9.
Oh,
So I was excited about telling my mom, but I couldn't find her. So then I called my sister in Charlotte, because I'm from
What's
South
more crabs?
Carolina. And I told my
Take some
sister, I
crabs
said,
with
I've
you.
been looking for Mama. And I
Give me
couldn't
some.
find her. And this is like 8 o'clock at night, I called her. She said, well, she's here. I said, she's there. I said, well, let me speak to her. She said, she can't talk. I said, what you mean she can't talk? You know, I said, let me speak to Mama.
She didn't tell you why she couldn't.
She didn't tell me. When she came to the phone, and I'm doing all the talking because I'm so excited, I'm crying, I'm telling her, Mom, I never felt like this before. And I went on and told her that I gave my life back to the Lord. And my mama said, well, I think that's nice. My mama hadn't spoken in 3 days.
ooh.
And that was the last word she said. And it ended up, my sister took the phone back and said, what did you say to her? And I told her, she said, "You haven't spoken in 3 days."
Ooh.
But no one had told me. And they ended up taking her to the hospital that night. She went into a deep sleep, stayed in there 3 months, and then she died. And I felt just like,
But
when
you
I
did,
saw
but,
her,
but you got to hear her.
yeah, I got to hear her tell me that that was good. But the best part about it, I put him in God's hands. And it was like, what, about 3, 4 years later, he's getting into, but he kept going to his church. And I didn't care about him going to his church if that's where he felt. But every time he came home from his church, he had to get a bill. He said,
Must have been sitting in there too
Here's the
long.
Lord driving you to drink.
He said, "This man right here is driving me to drink." And I said, "God," I said, "maybe the Lord is speaking to you." You know, so now he's chairman deacon in his church.
Wow.
So, you know, God is able. God don't
Nice.
ever give up on God, and He won't give up on you. So we've been there, but you got to have a humble spirit.
Yeah.
You know, because after then I was able to handle a whole lot of things a whole lot better. Because I kept seeking God's face for direction. It wasn't about me, and it wasn't about him. It's what God would have me to do.
We were having a conversation last night about our grandmother, and she passed away in the nursing home, and it was kind of heart-wrenching a little bit because my grandmother was having episodes where, because of her health, she would have to go from the nursing home to the hospital and back and forth again because they would have to drain the fluid out of her lungs, and it started becoming a merry-go-round. She goes back to nursing home. About 2 weeks later, she's back in the hospital again, getting drained again. And the doctor had pulled my mom and my aunt to the side and said, "You're going to have to make a decision. We can't keep doing this." They said, "Because, you know, your mother is going to keep coming back here." And he said that, you know, that's not a quality of life. Do you really want this quality of life to continue? And we were at the hospital, myself, Chastity, Lori, we were all at the hospital. And then, you know, we see the nurses come in, and the nurses come in and take all the equipment that was attached to my grandmother. You know, the IV drip, everything. And the doctor said, "You might as well just let her have and eat what she wants to eat." So at that moment, it was like a somber moment because it was like, grandma's gonna die. And grandma was what, in her 80s?
She was like 81. It was 2017, and she was born in. When was Grandma Rita born? Like grocery bags.
In the laundry room.
Oh, they're inside. Hey, in the laundry room, inside of a
And
panko breadcrumb.
Grandma was getting worse and worse and worse. And I was up here and I was about to drive down. And Lori and Chastity were at the nursing home with Mom and my aunt and the rest of the family. And I got a phone call saying, "Nick, don't come. Grandma just passed." I was like, okay. And that was, that was when I had to deal with that moment because it was like, I should have been there. You know what I mean? And, you know, I grew up with my grandmother being my second mother. And so I'm the oldest of the grandkids. You know, I spent more time with grandma than my other family members. There was times where grandma, in her later years, she became like a pastor. You know, she had her own little mini church and whatnot. And so, you know, she would preach and whatnot and minister to people and stuff. My grandfather was chief of the tribe as well. So, like, they were always doing things together. And you wouldn't see grandpa without grandma and vice versa. You know, it got to be that. And we were just discussing last night how, you know, it feels bad and wrong because they're not here to join us today.
But they are.
In spirit.
Yeah,
In spirit.
they are. Because a piece of you is always going to be, she's going to be a part of your life.
But even, like I told him, I said I had a customer, I had a business, and one of my customers was like, she was like, "You hear your grandma?" I was like, that's my grandma. My grandma was leading Bible study in the nursing home. The people were singing. Like, she made such an impact on all of those elderly people. And it's like, to know that you make an effect, or to know that somebody, like your matriarch or patriarch, was so important to so many people, it almost gives you something to live up to.
Well, you know, it do give you something to look forward to, because you said that, like she said a while ago, part of grandma and both of y'all. And then when you sit down and think about it, and sometimes I catch myself, my daddy's in the, I do that sometimes when I'm eating, and I used to see my daddy do that all the time. So, where you rubbing hands for, but I need to eat it. Rub his hand like that. That's a part of him and me. So the same thing with y'all, part of that as you are.
It's
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shawanda.
Stella.
Happy birthday to you.
So that's that version. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Whoa! Oh, y'all want me to break it down?
Break it out. There you go.
Might
Back up now.
Let me pull you back up. I'm pulling you back up.
Yeah, pull me back.
my life back to God. My mom wanted to take me home.
What?
She went and what?
And I could, she into
Coma.
coma. And I went back home to tell my mom what had happened to me that Sunday at church. And the funniest thing, my children had already became a member of that church, but I wasn't a member. They got baptized there. But
I really.
I couldn't find her. And I said, well, where am I at? You know, like,
I'll share.
we grew up, my mom had 12 children. And
12?
my dad died when I was 5. So it was like she raised a whole tribe by herself.
Okay, so where are you at in the 12?
I'm number 9.
Oh.
So I was excited about telling my mom, but I couldn't find her. So then I called my sister in Charlotte, because I'm from
What's
South
more crimes?
Carolina. And I told my
Take some
sister, I
crimes
said,
with
I've been looking for Mama. And I couldn't find her. And this is like 8 o'clock at night. I called her. She said, well, she's here. I said, she's there. I said, well, let me speak to her. She said, she can't talk. I said, what you mean she can't talk? You know, I said, let me speak to Mama.
She didn't tell you why she couldn't.
She didn't tell me. When she came to the phone, and I'm doing all the talking because I'm so excited. I'm crying. I'm telling her, Mom, I never felt like this before. And I went on and on and told her that I gave my life back to the Lord. And my mama said, well, I think that's nice. My mama hadn't spoken in 3 days.
Ooh.
And that was the last word she said. And it ended up, my sister took the phone back and said, what did you say today? And I told her, she said, you haven't spoken in 3 days.
Ooh.
But no one had told me. And they ended up taking her to the hospital that night. She went into a deep sleep, stayed in there 3 months, and then she died. And I felt just like,
But
when
you
I
did,
saw
but
her,
you got to hear her.
yeah, I got to hear her tell me that that was good. But the best part about it, I put him in God's hand. And it was like, what, about 3 or 4 years later, he's getting into, but he kept going to his church. And I didn't care about him going to his church if that's where he felt. But every time he came home from his church, he had to get a bill. He said this man,
Mary the Lord, driving you to drink.
he said, this man right here is driving me to drink. And I said, God, I said, maybe the Lord is speaking to you. You know, so now he's chairman deacon in his church.
Oh.
So, you know, God is able. God don't
Nice.
ever give up on God, and He won't give up on you. So we've been there, but you got to have a humble spirit.
Yeah.
You know, because after then I was able to handle a whole lot of things a whole lot better. Because I kept seeking God's face for direction. It wasn't about me, and it wasn't about Him. It's what God would have me to do.
We were having a conversation last night about our grandmother, and she passed away in the nursing home, and it was kind of heart-wrenching a little bit because my grandmother was having episodes where, because of her health, she would have to go from nursing home to the hospital and back and forth again because they would have to drain the fluid out of her lungs. And it started becoming a merry-go-round. She goes back to nursing home. About 2 weeks later, she's back in the hospital again, getting drained again. And the doctor had pulled my mom and my aunt to the side and said, "You're going to have to make a decision. We can't keep doing this." They said, because, you know, your mother is going to keep coming back here. And he said that, you know, that's not the quality of life. Do you really want this quality of life to continue? And we were at the hospital, myself, Chastity, Lori, we were all at the hospital. And then, you know, we see the nurses come in, and the nurses come in and take all the equipment that was attached to my grandmother. You know, the IV drip, everything. And the doctor said, you might as well just let her have and eat what she wants to eat. So at that moment, it was like a somber moment because it was like, grandma's gonna die. And grandma was in her 80s.
She was like 81. It was 2017, and she was born in. Where was Grandma Rita June? Like grocery bag.
In the laundry room.
Oh, they're inside. Hey, in the laundry room, inside of a panko bread curl.
Grandma was getting worse and worse and worse, and I was up here and I was about to drive down, and Lori and Chastity were at the nursing home with Mom and my aunt and the rest of the family, and I got a phone call saying, "Nick, don't come. Grandma just passed." I was like, okay. And that was, you know, that was when I had to deal with that moment because it was like I should have been there. You know what I mean? And you know, I grew up with my grandmother being my second mother, and so I'm the oldest of the grandkids. You know, I spent more time with grandma than my other family members. There was times where grandma, in her later years, she became like a pastor. You know, she had her own little mini church and whatnot. And so, you know, she would preach and whatnot and minister to people and stuff. My grandfather was chief of the tribe as well. So, like, they were always doing things together. And you wouldn't see grandpa without grandma and vice versa. You know, it got to be that. And we were just discussing last night how, you know, it feels bad and wrong because they're not here to join us today.
But they are.
In spirit.
Yeah,
In spirit.
they are. Because a piece of you is always going to be, she's going to be a part of your life.
But even, like I told him, I said I had a customer, I had a business, and one of my customers was like, she was like, "You hear your grandma?" And I was like, "That's my grandma." My grandma was leading Bible study in the nursing home. The people were singing. Like, she made such an impact on all of those elderly people. And it's like, to know that you make an effect, or to know that somebody, like your matriarch or patriarch, was so important to so many people, it almost gives you something to live up to.
Well, you know, it do give you something to look forward to, because you said that, like she said a while ago, part of grandma and both of y'all. And then when you sit down and think about it, and sometimes I catch myself, my daddy's in the, I do that sometimes when I'm eating, and I see my daddy do that all the time. So, yeah, the way you rub my hands for about me to eat it, rub his hand like that, that's a part of him and me. So the same thing with y'all, a part of that as you are.
But it's
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Shawanda.
Stella.
Happy birthday to you.
So that's that version. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Whoa! Y'all want me to break it down?
Bring it out. There you go.
Help me out.
Let me pull you back up.
Y'all pull me back.